So now that it's been a minute, I think I actually do want to talk about that. Um, so with the Nintendo Direct, the Nintendo Switch Direct, or Switch 2 to be specific, um, I am seriously disappointed with what is going on with the Switch 2 here. If you haven't heard, and I'll pop this up here. So this is Mario Kart World, right? Well, I guess maybe we should start with the Switch. Now we know that the Switch 2 is going to be $450, and then $500 if you want it bundled with Mario Kart World. And if we go down here, there's this little thing, $80. Now, obviously, very few people are going to buy Mario Kart World for $80, right? Because it comes bundled. So you're going to get it for $50. However, this is the new standard, right? $80 is the standard now for premium Nintendo games. Donkey Kong Bonanza is $70. And so if you look here, this is MSRP, right? And then it says down here, manufacturer suggested retail price, actual price may vary. Now, oh yeah, and the wheels. Isn't that great? Yeah, so this isn't bundled with the fucking wheels, this is just the price of the game now. Everywhere so far has been reporting that the digital pricing is about $10 difference from the physical pricing. So this is saying manufacturer suggested retail price. So $80. And then $70 would be the digital version, apparently. I was also seeing people saying that this was the digital version, and then it would be $90. But according, I guess, these asterisks, it should be this is retail pricing. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the next Mario game is going to be $80. The next Zelda game is going to be $80. The next, I don't know, Animal Crossing game is going to be $80, right? Donkey Kong, I guess, is not as highly valued, right, as Mario Kart, because Mario Kart is fucking massive, right? I think that this is really bad for obvious reasons. But did you see anything in that Mario Kart World trailer that made you think, wow, this is worth $20? This is, as a brand new game, this is $20 better than Mario Kart 8 or even 8 Deluxe. Not really. No. I mean, I didn't see anything that looked that impressive. Now, it's not even really just that, the fact that the price is up a little bit. I'm still kind of seething about the Nintendo Switch 2 edition stuff. Now, Zelda, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, we don't know what those prices are going to be, right? We don't know what the price of the Nintendo Switch upgrade is. We don't know what the price is for Kirby, and that comes with an expansion. Mario Party Jamboree comes with an expansion. New content, right? So that is something that you would pay for anyway. So in my mind, you're basically paying for the price of the expansion or the DLC, and that's about that. Now, I guess it's backwards compatible. So in theory, you could just play the version that runs worse, on your Nintendo Switch 2. But then again, I'm not even sure about that now. It does say that it's backwards compatible, but the Nintendo Switch edition, I guess, is what's in question. So I would assume you can play Breath of the Wild running at 30 frames per second, probably stable frame rate, you know what I mean? Probably stable resolution. Or you can play it at 60 frames per second, 1080p, maybe higher, I don't know. But for that, you need to pay money. Now, what are you paying money for? It is just the performance boost. Oh, by the way, yeah, Zelda Notes, apparently. You're also paying for an app on your phone, so you can use Google Maps to find Korok seeds, or have Princess Zelda narrate to you from your phone. Who fucking cares? That is fan shit. You know what I mean? That is shit that fans would do. Like, that is not something that you're coming here and you go, oh, I'm going to pay however much for it. If that is more than $10, I mean, it should be free. It should be free. This is a performance update. It's not new content, right? What they're doing is that they are shoving the Zelda notes thing in. They're saying it's exclusive to the Switch 2. It doesn't have to be. There's no reason it has to be. But it has to be for them to justify selling it to you. You know what I mean? So if the Nintendo Switch edition, the Switch 2 edition was just, oh, now you can play at 60 frames per second, and then they asked you to pay any amount of money for that, that is fucking criminal. Because you could have been doing that in Cemu on the Wii U emulator. You could have been running Breath of the Wild 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, 4K, 2 months after the release of the game. You know what I mean? Which was what, 6-7 years ago? Maybe more? And even on Switch, you could play it at 4K, 120 frames per second if you have the PC to run it with Switch emulation. So not only is this fan shit, but fans have already done it for free. And then Nintendo says, well, we want you to pay us for it, for a patch. That it changes some hex values so that the game can run at 60 frames per second and look a little sharper on your 1080p screen. Yeah, fuck that. And fuck this $80 thing. And what this says to me is that Grand Theft Auto is going to be $100 for sure. If Mario Kart can get away with selling itself for $80, Grand Theft Auto is going to be $100 for sure. Easy. No question. That is the easiest $100 sale ever. And here's the thing. I'm not even opposed to games being really expensive. You know what I mean? In general. Like, I think in Japan they do pricing for like Dojin products, like basically independent releases. They're usually a little pricey compared to what you would assume it would be based on like American pricing, right? So like an indie game in the United States is like $15-20, right? You get Stardew Valley is $15. I'll bet you there are a lot of people who played Stardew Valley who said that they would have paid $50, $60 for it because like the value of that game is so high. Kenshi, RimWorld, you know, things like that. You could have charged me $100 for RimWorld, and I would have been like, man, I have to think about this. It's expensive, but it would be worth it. In my mind, in my opinion, I think that that products like games that have more limited audiences. I would not mind them bumping the price up a little to make sure that they can continue to exist. You know what I mean? So like niche products are a little pricier, like one-off things here and there they're a little bit more expensive because they don't come around that often and the audience isn't that big. So in order to, like, basically the increased price of that game would subsidize the fact that nobody else is interested in it except for you, right? So you pay a little more because that's something made for you, basically, a very limited audience. That's the way I look at stuff like that. And then we get to Mario Kart. This is going to sell 30 million copies, right? If it's a pack-in for if it's bundled for an extra $50, this is going to sell as many as they sell Nintendo Switch 2s, right? It doesn't need to be $80, especially given what they're giving you. It's just a new Mario Kart game. It doesn't look that special, you know? So anyway, that's just my point about, like, I don't think that it's always terrible to price your game more. You know what I mean? But in my mind, that's more for, like, if you're trying to like stay afloat with a small audience, right? It is what it is. If you're making a game like this, you're just selling it for $80 because you know you can get away with it. You know what I mean? That's it. And that's how it's going to be with Grand Theft Auto 6 when that comes out for $100 million, or for $100, and they sell 100 million copies of it. And this whole idea for these massive projects, or these massive projects, right, like Mario Kart, right, as if like the history of Nintendo is hinging on this project, right? The idea that they need to sell these games for $80, $100 to justify, to stay afloat, it's fucking bullshit. It's been bullshit. It's been bullshit since they raised the price from 60 to 70. It's been bullshit since they raised the price from 50 to 60, you know? And here's the reason why. There are exponentially more people buying games now than there ever have been. If you look at the list of the top selling games of all time, like, I'm pretty sure like the top 25, maybe more, are all from like the last few years, because games sell more now than they ever have. So the idea that they have to increase in price, they don't. And even if you take that shit away, they're already nickel and diming you everywhere. This fucking, for like if you just look at the Switch stuff, you can't even use voice chat unless you have Nintendo Switch Online. That's a big feature that they're advertising. Who cares? They're advertising shit from Xbox Live Arcade. It doesn't fucking matter. It would, like I said during the Direct, they're showing features that were available on Uno in 2007 on the Xbox 360, and they're like, "Wow, isn't that amazing?" No, it's not, and it's not worth paying money for. And then you take that, and then this whole thing, they're saying you're going to save $10, right, by buying the game digitally, because they're obviously trying to phase out physical, right? Here's the thing, right? They used to say, well, you know, physical copies cost money to produce. Digital is just, you download it. The price is just the price of the server, which they were going to pay for anyway. So if you buy digital, you know, it'll actually be cheaper for the end user than buying physical, which, by the way, has never been true. It's something that people said when they were trying to push digital, and then it never happened. It was just the same price. And in a lot of cases, it's actually more expensive to buy it digitally, because those, like, console digital sales don't go on sale that often, whereas physical copies go on sale all the fucking time at any retail store. So that aside, they're finally doing it where they're saying, well, it's actually cheaper now to buy digital than it is to buy physical, because it's going to be $10 more if you buy physical. They didn't give you a discount. They just raised the price of the one they don't want you to buy. They made it more inconvenient for you to buy products in the way that you would prefer, so that they can strip more rights from you as a consumer. And you know this, it is a fact, because of what they did in the last Direct with the virtual game cards, right? Virtual game cards, they can be used on 2 Nintendo Switch devices that have your login information on it. That's what they said during the Direct. I don't know how it works. I haven't tried it. But here's the thing. If you own 10 Nintendo Switches and you're logged into all 10 of them, you know, maybe not all at the same time, right? Because you can't use a physical game at the same time on multiple devices. But if you have that game installed on 10 different devices and you bought it digitally, and you want to play each device one at a time for an hour at a time, you know, and move on to the next. You don't even have to have cloud saves, right? Maybe they don't even have that feature. That's fine. We're not even talking about things that you could have. We're just saying you want to play this game that you bought on 10 devices that you own. You can't do that because Nintendo has taken away your right to do that, because the license that they're allowing you for buying this $10 less digital product, right? They're stripping away what you can do with it, and they're fucking you. Whereas if you have the Mario Kart World cart, you paid $10 extra for it, but you can pop it out and put it in any device, any Nintendo Switch device, whether it belongs to you or not. Nintendo Switch 2, of course. So my point is they're trying to incentivize you to get the least value out of your purchase by fucking you if you do the thing that it would be better for you. You know what I mean? For $10 off, you can only use it on 2 devices, and that's it. And then when it's done, it's done. And then when the Nintendo Switch 3 comes out, you can pay them an extra $30 or $20 or $40, whatever it's going to be, so you can play that game on the next thing. They're going to hold everything you own hostage, unless you just want to play the old version on the old console. Yeah. So anyway, that's all. That's all to say. I think I'm done buying consoles. I don't think it's worth it anymore. I have a PS5. It's right here next to me. I've turned it on like 5 times. I got rid of the Switch because I thought I was going to buy a Switch 2 at launch, and now I just don't think I'm going to buy it at all. Just because I don't like the Nintendo Switch 2 edition stuff for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I think that really did it for me. I'm like, did I play enough Nintendo games on the Switch for it to be worth it for me to buy that console and then pay $70 to $80 per game for the next one? And I think the answer is no. I used to say that you just need a good PC and whatever Nintendo makes, because Nintendo makes some of my favorite games. They're always very high quality. They're really good. Even like Nintendo games are so good that even when they run like absolute dog shit, like Zelda, and this is true since the N64, Ocarina of Time ran at like 15 frames per second. Didn't matter because they were making awesome shit. Those games rock. Mario 64 ran like shit. Game rocks. You know what I mean? And I've always kind of given them a little bit of a pass. Their games never go on sale. They always kind of price you out. But it's hard to really say that it wasn't worth it because their products are so good. Their games are so good. And nobody really makes them as good as Nintendo does, frankly. And I really do mean that, honestly. But if this is what's going on now, if they're pulling like EA and Ubisoft bullshit, they're going to price their games insane. Yeah, then this is too much. I think I am done buying consoles. Nintendo was the last one. Like, I was gonna keep getting Nintendo stuff, but this is how they've chosen to move as a company, and it's no, I don't think it's worth the money. And there will be a way to play Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom at 60 frames per second in 4K, and that'll be the same way that I've been doing it for the last several years. It'll be on my computer. And I think I think by September, and this is just a prediction, there will be a way to play Mario Kart World on my computer at a very high frame rate, at a very high resolution, and at a very cheap price. So, yeah. I think I'm done buying consoles, and I don't feel bad. So, hopefully something changes. I'm interested to see what they have to say about Nintendo Switch 2 editions and the upgrades. But the people don't seem to be very happy about the $70, $80, $90 MSRPs. But, you know, people weren't happy about stripping away dedicated servers from Modern Warfare 2, and they still bought it. So I don't think this will matter in the long run. I think Nintendo's going to make a lot of money, but it won't be my money. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. I just had to chat about that at the start of the stream because I'm really baffled by what they're doing here. And I'm curious. I don't foresee a PlayStation 3 scenario here, you know, where they walk it back. I mean, they have, to be fair, I guess they have done that with the 3DS, right? That came out, and then they had their ambassador program. I just, with the new management that they have at Nintendo, I don't see that happening. And I think, I'm sure it'll be a success. I don't think it'll be as big as the original Switch. I think that has worn off, and there's going to be enough handhelds in the near future. And if Nintendo wants to price their stuff at $400 to $500, there's gonna be a lot of competition in that space. Obviously not with Nintendo games on them, and that's the big draw of buying Nintendo consoles is that you have their phenomenal library, frankly. Um, but we'll see how much that really is worth because it's easy to say that Nintendo's not could never fail because everybody likes Nintendo games and babies buy Pokemon and it doesn't matter. But it did matter with the Wii U. So, maybe. I doubt it. But you never know.